What is up, guys? Episode 7.
Welcome back, my slimes.
My slimes. My drink's all the way over here. So we're going to try something a little bit different. We're actually going to use microphones. We're going to see if this actually makes a difference.
Yeah, see if the audio quality is a little bit better.
Yeah, we're trying to give our audience, you guys, the best experience we possibly can. And
For sure.
the little mics do a very good job. I think when we expand our content and do a little bit more man on the street out there with the people, those definitely come in handy.
Yeah.
But sitting down in the basement, I think we just need the best audio we possibly can, and I think this is it for right now. I guess we'll figure out what to do later, but here we are.
Yeah. No, dude, this is sick. I think it's going to add quite a bonus to the audio.
I really hope it does.
Well, I mean, just think about it. I mean, our audio has been so bad. And honestly, I do want to apologize to people. We literally bought these $25 mics things.
Yeah, the $25 mics.
They were basically Temu mics that, they were on Amazon, but they were not Amazon quality type, stuff that you would actually just buy commercially in the United States. It was definitely something that just came out of some random sweatshop in Nepal.
And we had no choice. I mean, we wanted to get our podcast out there. We wanted to get our voices to you, and that was the most effective way to do it. We'll put a poll up. If you like these mics and you want us to get better mics and have the best audio quality we possibly can, let us know. We'll do that. We'll do anything for the viewers, just about anything.
Just about. But
yeah, so I
will not be offering you financial advice, though, because that will get us in trouble with the SEC.
Yes.
And no go.
You definitely should not trade Doge. Unless you want to be a millionaire, just don't trade it then.
Not official financing or investing advice, but yeah.
But yeah.
If I were you, if I was the viewer, I would do that.
If you were smart, you would do it. But
also,
it's not advice.
We have a sponsor. Actually, we don't. But if we did have a sponsor, I would not be giving financial advice to any person who's watching this podcast. But I would say this. Hey, if I was you, I would click on that deal and I would buy it.
100%. And so in the last podcast, I mentioned how a lot of influencers talk about getting to the goal, being fit, making $10,000 a month, and no one talks about the in between, the first step, and what it takes to truly get there.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been weighing on my mind is what's the smallest unit of measurement we can do, we can discuss to get to our maximum goals. And what always comes to my mind is lying to yourself.
Yeah.
And we all know that we do it. I don't think we realize how much we actually lie to ourselves on a regular basis. You wake up in the morning, you're like, oh, this will be awesome. I'm going to get this done today. I'm going to get this done today. And then it comes time to complete that task, and you're like, I'll do it in 5 minutes. Go on your phone for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
5 minutes is up. Yeah, just 5 more minutes. I'll get it done. Then you end up not getting anything done, and you feel depressed. You feel bad about yourself. You really accomplished nothing that day.
Yeah.
How can we identify this problem in ourselves, in every aspect of everything we do, and resolve this problem? Everyone has this problem.
Yeah. Well, I think one of the easiest ways of identifying the problem is just doing a simple, just going through your conscience at night, a conscious examination, and just, basically reviewing your day and all the different things. You start in the morning, think about it, what time did I get up, as opposed to, what time did I actually wake up? Did I make my bed? Did I go downstairs? Did I eat breakfast? Did I do the things that I wanted to do as part of my routine? When I went to work, did I slack off? Did I spend a lot of time on my phone? Did I actually get my work done at the time that I said I was going to get it done? Was I fast in my responsivity? Just different things like that. And you think about it at the end of the day, just all the different things that you went through during the day. And you can think about the good stuff and you can think about the bad stuff and just note them.
Yeah.
Note what was good, note what was bad. And you'll find you have a lot of stuff that you put off. A lot.
Yeah. I think so because everyone's lying to ourselves and we're stuck in this just loop of just lying, that we need to break it. So not only examining your conscience and looking at your day at the end of the day or at the beginning of the day, what you want to accomplish, write it down. There's this brilliant influencer online. I didn't name him this. His name's Asian Josh. He talks about writing down your goals, your to-do list, so you actually can. Your mind's helping you write it down, so it's tangible.
Yeah,
it's there. And what we should be doing, and what we should be challenging our audience to do, is at the end of the day, preparing for the next day, write down 3 things you need to get done. Start small. If it's get up at 6 o'clock, make your bed, and shower. It's 3 simple things. Accomplish that right in the morning. You're going to have a successful day. Get those early wins. It's first thing in the morning, and you'll be solid. I have an alarm that I made using GarageBand. It's actually David Goggins talking.
Yeah.
And what's he say? It's like, don't hit that snooze button, because you're going to miss what you wanted to do. You start getting L's right in the morning. Hit the snooze button.
Yeah.
Slept in an extra 10 minutes. Now you can't shower. Now you can't do your hair the way you wanted to. Now you can't get the clothes on you wanted to. And you start the day in the negative.
Yeah.
We need to be in the positive.
No, I think a lot of it comes from just a sense of like it's hopelessness in individuals. You don't have a drive to do anything because you have no hope that it'll actually become true, right? But we've discussed this at length, as well as most people. I think I can probably say that. Well, maybe not most people have discussed this, but enough people have discussed it to the point where it's a good enough point. And the point is this: you need to do the small things in order to be able to accomplish the big things, right? And something so small as like David Goggins, for example, is a world-class guy. Just everything.
He really is.
Everything that he wants to accomplish, he could accomplish because he just has a stronger mindset than anyone. And like we all want to strive to be David Goggins, but it's just not going to happen because we're not. We're not built like him. We don't have that mindset. But even he is willing to stoop so low to the point of saying something like, "Do not hit that snooze button." That's a small thing. Yeah. That's a really small thing, right? And there's a lot of really small things that we can do like that. You can just end the alarm, get out of bed, go brush your teeth, get in the shower if that's what you do, go to the gym, make your breakfast, do your daily routine, right? Just really small things. But follow up on it and be consistent. If you can be consistent with the small things, right? And you can make that your habit, the big things will follow in line. You're never going to be able to accomplish anything big if you can't do something small in order to build up to it.
100%. People want to take on the mountain and can't even walk.
Yeah.
And that's something that we need to really ingrain in our minds. And the young men and anybody in business, in any kind of job, understand that if you want to grow, if you want to get to that next level, you need to do the little things right. And in a business aspect, it could be showing up to work on time, early. And when you're at work, you're ready to work. You're not getting there, you're already groggy, you haven't had your coffee yet, you're just not ready to really perform. And when you're at work, you're attentive, you're responding quickly.
Yeah.
You are doing those little things. You don't need to be the smartest person at your job. You just need to be one of the hardest working. And understanding that there's always going to be someone better than you, and you're not trying to beat them, you're trying to beat yourself.
Yeah.
And write down your shortcomings. Write it down, and every single day look at them and ask yourself, how can I get better at these things today? And I think we just all need to hold each other accountable. We're building a little community here.
Yeah.
Me and you are holding each other accountable to coming here, recording every Tuesday. It's not always convenient. It's hard. But we're doing it every week because we believe in something. And we want to be the best we possibly can. We're trying to get better each day, each time we record a podcast.
Yeah.
And I hope that the viewers can see that we're getting better at this, a little bit more comfortable behind the microphone.
Yeah. Well, I'm sorry that you don't find spending time with me convenient, but it's okay.
It's that 47-minute drive, man.
Yeah, it sucks, doesn't it?
It's horrible.
Yeah, that's what I do too.
Yeah,
I drive 47 minutes to my own house.
That's
from
rough.
work. Yeah, I'm just kidding.
But I'm really struggling with lying to myself right now. I'm really struggling with doing the minimum. I know what I need to be doing, and I'm productive when I get up. But it's getting up. I've talked about this in many podcasts. Is getting out of bed. I've my wife and I have been watching this TV show that both of us are actually watching
Yeah.
right now, and my goodness, I cannot turn it off.
Yeah.
Suits, you did a fantastic job of making me not want to go to sleep.
Suits is a fantastic show.
It's
where do you think that stems from? Because it's not really unique to us, right? Like this is something that is very common, especially among young men nowadays.
Yeah.
We have just some like stats to throw out there. I think it's the workforce for men between the ages of 20 to 30 has decreased over the last like 10 years, has decreased by almost, I think, 20%. And that's a crazy statistic, right?
Decrease isn't like they're not working anymore?
Yeah, a lot of men are not working. The amount of, let me reread that. So it's not that the amount of people has decreased, it's the amount of new workers that are signing up for like new jobs and increasing like their pay and stuff like that.
Okay.
Has decreased by 20%. And it's like a lack of motivation or something. It's a lack of, and actually I don't even know if I want to say that because I'm not sure if it is a lack of motivation. I think it's a lack of imagination, right? Because you and I do this podcast, we're very small. We don't have anything that we're bringing in. There's nothing profitable or good about what we are doing right at this very moment because it doesn't do anything for us, right? Mm-hmm. But you and I both have an imagination that tells us like, hey, if we keep at this, we talk about good subjects, we keep our content consistent and good, and we cater to the correct audience, this thing is going to grow no matter what, and it will grow into something that we can turn that's beneficial to us, and hopefully it's beneficial for the audience too, right?
Yeah, it's that 100-hour rule.
Right.
You practice something over and over again, you're going to get good at it.
Right.
If you do something consistently, there's no way you can be bad at it.
Right. So we had the motivation to start, but it's not our motivation that tells us to keep on doing this because of what's going to do in the future, right? That's our imagination that we use, that we can look at it and say, hey, this could grow into this, but we need to have the proper motivation to get from point A to point B, right? Yeah. But you need the imagination to be able to visualize the track, right? The voyage in between A and B, right?
Yeah, you gotta fall in love with the journey,
the
process. All these professional athletes and everything, they talk about the process.
Mm-hmm. Trust the process.
Trust the process.
Joel Embiid.
Yeah, it's so true. Everyone wants to be a multi-millionaire doing podcasts like Impulsive or whatnot, but we're starting in the basement.
There's too many podcasts. There should not be another one.
No, there really shouldn't, and that's why we're going to be the last podcast ever made.
For sure.
We really did it.
No more podcasts after this, honestly.
And that's what people need to continue to fall in love with, the process.
Yeah.
And it's not flashy. It doesn't look great. Like, we're in the basement. Mm-hmm. We don't have houses.
Whoa, basement. This is the studio office.
Studio office, the pet house in Akron, Ohio, in the Chase building.
You mean New York City?
Yeah.
This is not Akron, Ohio.
and that people need to fall in love with the process.
Yeah.
And life is not easy. Life is going to be hard. It's meant to be hard. If it was easy, everyone would be succeeding.
Right.
And you need to understand it's going to take work. You can do it. Yeah. You're the only one that can do it. I can't make you successful. You can't make me successful. I have to do it, and you have to do it.
But we can see each other as being successful.
We can, but that's not necessarily...
That gives us the motivation to want to make that visualization become a realization.
Yeah.
Right?
So the word motivation is weird to me. It's very fickle. I think it's used a lot in society. I'm not motivated right now.
I think it's an empty word.
It definitely has lost its meaning. And a word I like to use is drive. You have the drive to do something. That means for me it means it's hard. It's not everything's not it's an active process. No matter what's going on, if you feel like you're succeeding, you still have drive. If you're not succeeding, you still have drive to get to your goal, that vision, your imagination to get to where you want to be.
Right.
And people need to get back to that. They need to get back to reality, like we said in the last podcast. People are living in a fantasy world that you can magically make a ton of money on the internet and be super famous and not have to work a day in your life.
Yeah.
That's just not how the world works.
Mm-hmm.
You need to pick up your boots, put your big boy pants on, and work.
Mm-hmm.
And nothing's going to be handed to you. It's not going to be easy. Work. Work, work, work.
Yep. There's a good way to visualize it. If you think about like a race in some sort of game, right? And you hit a obstacle, like an oil spill or a banana or something like that, like Mario Kart,
Bananas.
right? It slows down all of your momentum, right? Like you can have good drive, but if you're not avoiding like the little obstacles, right, and you just kind of hit them, it slows you down, right? And I think a lot of people after those slowdowns that they hit, because no one's a perfect driver, right? You're gonna hit those every once in a while, but some people will just lose their drive. They'll lose their drive. I was going to say they're gonna lose their drives. Say that 20 times fast.
Yeah.
But I mean, like people will lose their drive over one obstacle, right?
Yeah.
And I think it goes back to what we were saying about imagination. I think people have a really hard time imagining themselves in a position. I think there's a really terrible term that gets thrown around a lot now, which is manifesting. And like manifesting is different because so let's think about the way to say this. So there's manifesting, which is imagining yourself in a position of success without acting on it.
Yeah.
Right?
Just
And then
hoping
there's
and praying.
motivation, which is going to some place without an imagination to necessarily drive it, right? So as a man, you need to look for the healthy balance in between that where you have the correct motivation that brings you to where you want to go, right?
Yeah.
And we're talking about the two tools that you use to do that, such as having a mental drive and having a imagination that tells you where to drive, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's the correct way to think about it.
It is, yeah. I mean, we even look at manifestation even more. We're seeing this a lot in the female community. It's just manifesting a good husband, manifesting a good job.
Yeah.
And that's not how that works. You have to be actively seeking those things and preparing yourself for those situations.
Yeah.
Say you want to have a good job, just say in accounting. It's the first job that came to my mind. You want to be a good accountant.
Mm-hmm.
You went to school for accounting, so you have a basic understanding of the job and the position. You're out of college, and you're not doing anything. You're not applying for jobs. You're not continuing to learn.
Right.
And you're just sitting there, I'm manifesting a great job for a company being an accountant. Is that
No,
ever going to come?
that
It
is
doesn't
not
happen
how it
like
works.
that.
No.
Same thing with finding a husband. If you want to find a good man who's going to provide for you and nurture you and protect you,
Yeah.
but you're going out and you're not acting as someone who deserves that, you're never going to find that person. The same thing with men. If you want that good wife, you want to be that husband that nurtures their wife. They talked about this 2 podcasts ago, or that would be 3 podcasts ago. It was last podcast.
We've done too many podcasts.
Podcast 5. You talk about if you want to be a good husband, you need to focus on what makes up a good husband. Nurturing, attentiveness, and being a man.
Yeah.
And people need to get back to reality. I'm gonna keep bringing that up. Reality is lost. We live in a fantasy world where people can just manifest greatness and nothing happens.
There's a terrible trend on TikTok right now that I saw at the beginning of like every single month. People always say like claim this sound, right? And I don't know if you've seen this.
I think so.
There'll be like a video, it's like some video of like some random thing. It could be literally anything, but it'll say, "Hey, you missed out on $1 million this month because you didn't claim this sound." It's like, what are you doing? Right? So it motivates people to share the sound, which then puts that video more into the algorithm, and then whoever made that video gets more followers, likes, and stuff like that. But like, it's so terrible because people share this stuff and they claim the sound, right? They use the sound for their video to kind of like boost their, like, I don't know, like their spiritual aura that will allow them to get like $1 million that month.
Yeah.
Right? People are superstitious, but they're superstitious for the wrong things, right? Like there is a healthy spirituality that everyone must have, right? You do need to have a good relationship with God, right? But this is spirituality that's directed in the complete wrong direction, where it's pointed entirely and necessarily at yourself, right? And that's a problem, right? If you do it, that's another thing that we haven't really mentioned. I think that's really important, is that when you do this stuff, you need to do it for someone, not necessarily for yourself,
Yeah.
right?
We're not living for ourselves.
No. but you live with yourself, right? So you live with the thoughts that you come up with, right? And those could be guilty thoughts, they can be bad thoughts, they can be abusive thoughts, they can be good thoughts, right? Like all of the above. You live with those thoughts. Those thoughts are you. You create them, they shape you. But your actions aren't necessarily always for you because they don't affect you necessarily. They do affect you, but
they also can affect
other people,
yes.
right? And so your actions have consequences. Consequences lead to... No, just kidding.
Ramifications. We're going to be taking ramifications. That's for the OGs out there.
That is for the OGs. Yeah, if you get that reference, you're crazy.
Yeah, drop a like for that reference.
Drop a like for that reference, honestly, yeah. No, but it's true, right? Like, you need to do... Your actions need to help other people.
Yeah, we're a very selfish society. We're a very self-centered society. I mean, look at the increase in Karens now. Like, they're in line, something a little bit inconvenient happens, and they lose their absolute mind.
Yeah.
Because the world
I struggle
is...
with that, too, I'm not going to lie.
We all do.
Yeah.
There's that, like, everyone is in their own little worlds. Like,
yeah.
It's really hard to fathom. Like, since I was a little kid, I'll look at somebody else, and I'm like, they have really no idea I exist, and they have their own little world. Everything that I have, they have that, but completely different from me.
Yeah.
And we need to understand that that's how we all live. We all are all in our own little worlds,
mm-hmm.
trying our best to succeed. We just need to help each other out. Why are we making it harder for ourselves?
Yeah.
Other people are just, like, going back to what we mentioned a little while ago in a previous podcast about, like, putting the shopping cart away. It's a little thing that takes a little bit of effort, but it could help someone else out.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people are just so selfish. Oh, I don't have to deal with it anymore. It's not going to affect me, and they just throw it on the curb.
What do you think about when you're at a grocery store and you grab something from one of the shelves and you take it across the entire store because you're going to get something else? You know what I'm going to say.
Oh, yeah.
But then you actually find that you don't want to buy that product, so you're like, oh, like, I don't want to walk all the way back across the store to put this on the shelf. No, you don't.
I promise you. Ask my wife.
Oh
ask my wife.
You know that's not true.
I literally did this Monday. I was picking out gifts for my sister. Well, it's the nearest example. I haven't been shopping since. I've obviously we've all put it back in a different spot, but I always do try to put it back in the right spot. But it's always funny to see though when, like, the best is when you're like go walk down the cookie aisle.
Yeah.
And you see, like, apples.
I know, yeah.
Because you know someone's like, nah.
Like,
but that goes back to lying to yourself.
Yeah.
In the beginning of shopping, they're like, I'm going to eat healthy this week. I'm going to be great. A little bit of adversity. They see something shiny.
Or
cookies.
Or it could have been someone with good intentions, and it was a person who's saying, hey, there's going to be someone who walks down this cookie aisle, and I'm going to put this bag of apples there for them, because then when they walk down the cookie aisle, they're going to say, oh, man, there's a bag of apples.
So we should
Maybe I should grab that.
This is what we're going to do. We're trying to make society better. We want people to lose weight and be healthy, the best versions of themselves.
Yeah.
Whenever you're shopping, take a bag of apples and put them in a cookie aisle. Okay? That's going to help, like you said, it's going to help someone go, you know what? I
Grab
probably
some
should
romaine lettuce and put it in the freaking chip section.
It is. That's we need to do it. But that's our challenge for this week.
You know what I'm going to do? I'm actually just going to buy all the junk food in the store so that no one else can buy it.
You're given from God.
I think that's what we should do with the proceeds and the profits of this podcast. Is just
just
buy
all the junk
everything
food.
that they can.
What do we do with the junk food?
That doesn't need to be discussed.
I have jokes, but
I mean, if you want to, I mean,
first class ticket to Africa.
You know what they always say? You donate it to some charity that you founded.
So we founded.
Yeah.
So let me get this straight. You're gonna spend money to buy all the junk food to help people, but then people that need help, you're gonna send them junk food.
Maybe. Possibly.
Someone's getting boned in this situation.
Like I said, the fine details don't need to be discussed.
No, we'll figure those out.
Yeah, we'll figure those out.
We have the idea. I think the idea is there.
Yeah. If the idea is good, then the practice must be good.
Yeah, that's always
just
how
necessarily true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Why not?
I'm just having like fun little banter. It's like life's so hard and so serious all the time, and we're talking about a really important subject. But it's just Gotta laugh once in a while.
No, I mean, you like, it's the same thing with what we're discussing right now. I mean, there's going to be breaks. You can't be 100% strict and stringent on yourself, right?
Balanced. Gotta be balanced.
That's another word I don't really like, is like balanced. I feel like a lot of people say that, but a lot of people who say balance are people that make excuses for compensation. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah,
like
definitely
people
could be
will
those
say
people.
like, he's like, I'm working out, I'm trying to get better, but I'm like allowing myself to have like 2 or 3 junk food meals per week.
Yeah.
It's
If you're
like,
truly,
it's like balance,
yeah.
right? Like,
If you're truly working out, then you obviously you could afford those. But yeah, I mean, it goes back to the root of this conversation is just lying to yourself.
yeah.
They think, you know what, I walked a little bit more today. I went and got the mail outside.
Mm-hmm.
Now I can go and eat junk food. It's like, no, that works.
Yeah.
And people just, like, we get back to reality, back to understanding that you can't lie to yourself.
People that understand this whole thing against balance better than anyone else are people who are like recovering addicts, like, especially like people who go to Alcoholics Anonymous meetings, right? Like they have badges for the different amount of days that you haven't had alcohol, right? Like they're sobriety badges, I think that they're called.
Yeah.
Right, so when they pass 45 days, they get a badge. When they pass 90 days, they get a badge. When they do 180, right, so on and so forth.
How many days
It keeps
are you
building. I don't remember.
Sorry. I had to throw that in there.
No, right, but like they understand like there's no balance in their life with their problem, right? When they recognized that they had a problem, they made a conscious decision that they wanted to just get rid of it. So especially for those people that are on like 180 days, there's no balance that they allow themselves in their life to have alcohol anymore.
No,
right?
you can
because they've recognized that it's an issue that is completely detrimental to their life moving forward.
Yeah, well, certain things you shouldn't have a balance on. Like, you shouldn't have a balance between how much heroin you do and how much heroin you don't do. I think the balance is nothing to all of it. Like,
Right.
there's no in between. But for a lot of people, so something that I heard in listening to, I think it's Alex Hormozy. Is that his name?
Hormozy, yeah.
Hormozy. And he talked about if you were your own manager, it's like you hired yourself to manage yourself, what would you tell yourself? Right? So you know yourself better than anybody because you live with yourself and all your internal thoughts. And you wanted to be successful. What would you tell yourself to be successful? What would you do? Would you listen to yourself?
Yeah.
These are things like this, like little, like, what do you call it? Not a mind game, but I don't know. Just mind trick, something, whatever. That is super profound, and I think that everyone should be thinking that. What would you tell yourself to make yourself successful? For me, it's going to be when you say you're going to get up, you set that alarm, actually get up. When you say you're going to go work out, actually go work out.
Yeah.
When you say you're going to complete these tasks, actually complete those tasks. They're not difficult to do. You just waste more energy just pushing it off, procrastinating.
Yeah.
So for you, what if you had to tell yourself certain things? You're managing yourself. What would you tell yourself?
Oh, I mean the first thing would be like, dude, you really need to lay off the Oreos.
Do you have a real problem?
I do have a really big problem with Oreos. I mean, Oreos are just so freaking good, though. Dude.
You know they're satanic?
No.
You ever seen that conspiracy theory?
No. Everything's satanic if you have a good enough conspiracy theory.
It's a good enough conspiracy theory. We'll play the video right here. Satanic.
That's crazy.
Isn't
Holy cow.
Isn't that nuts?
No
You
way.
Now you're going to completely cut off Oreos.
I will. Yeah, but see,
Just
the
go
thing
off
is,
brand.
I like the idea of visualizing yourself as another person telling you to do something, because it does make it easier to. It's easier for someone to tell you to do something than it is for you to tell yourself to do something.
Yeah, we're used to lying to ourselves.
Yeah, so you do have to kind of like visualize like someone else coming down to you. That's why I think it's so important to have morality, right? Like, this is why morality is so important, and it's so important for morality to be justified by God, that for God to be the center of morality, because without someone who is like at the ultimate peak telling you what to do, nothing means, or everything means nothing.
Yeah,
right?
you need an example. You need something to base your beliefs off of.
You need an ultimate authority.
Yeah, you need reasons like why something is bad.
Yeah.
Otherwise, there's no base for anything. That's why we have structure.
Yeah.
logic, reason, all these things that are almost gone in this normal day and age, especially in the United States, and it's disgusting. But it's also just it's kind of cool to see like African countries really double down on morality and logic and stuff like that, like Uganda.
Yeah, I will say if I had one thing that I wish I was doing better and what I would tell myself to do better of is literally just thinking about my day at the end of the day. I feel like I keep my mind like too occupied with stuff that it doesn't really care about by just like scrolling through social media or playing some video game. And I wish I would just take the time to just sit and think. Just think. Think about my day. Think about what I did right. Think about what I did wrong. Think about what I could improve on. And there's a great saying from a French thinker in the I can't remember if he was the 1700s or the 1800s, but his name was Pascal. And he said, like, I think that the quote, this is a rough quote, but he says, 99% of the world's problems would be fixed if man could figure out how to sit in a room in silence for 1 hour. 99% of the world's problems. If everyone had the skill of being able to sit in a room in silence for 1 hour.
That's profound.
Yeah, and we don't have that, especially like everything like nowadays is driven towards keeping you away from silence. But there's so much importance in silence.
There really is
so much importance in silence,
and it's something we definitely can discuss. But I think this was a fantastic little conversation. I think we're building up. We're getting here.
Yeah,
getting those steps in, and we'll continue to break down those steps and talk about other important issues. If there's anything that you want us to discuss, please put it in the comments. If you're watching a YouTube short, let us know what you want us to talk about. But this was awesome, Ben. Happy to be here.
For sure.
We're out.
We're out.